I see a light inside of you, so let it shine. It's time to spread your wings and fly. Reach for the sky. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go there, 'cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day, one day, one day. One day you go make a one day, one day, one day. One day you go make a. Don't let nothing push you down. Stand bow. Yes, we believe in you. Don't you give up on yourself till the world knows who you are. Keep on shining. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go there, 'cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day, one day, one day. One day you go make a one day, one day, one day. One day you go make a one day you'll be like the sun. So one day you go shine.
Access, more than banking.
When I first discovered I had fibroid, that was in 2015, suddenly my flow was extremely high. It was always affecting me when I had to work. I had to go meet my gynae and I'm like, this is what I'm experiencing. He gave me some drugs. He said, use it, it will help the flow. Then you come and do a scan, let's know what the problem is. He said it's a place where if one isn't careful, could affect the womb. At that point, I said no to operation. There's this herbs you could use. There's this drugs you could use. They were saying all sorts because I refused a blood transfusion. My weakness in marriage, I had to call her. I told her, look, madam, this is it. I've been scared all my life, but right now I've been told that my life is at risk here. She said that Access Bank is trying to sponsor a woman. She said, well, that's the truth. It's one woman. You could be that woman. So when I went to the center, they did a scan. They said, okay, that I'll be sent to do an MRI. I was so happy and I was so touched that I was one of those who benefited from this. I'm a whole lot better because of Access Bank. And I say thank you very much for this initiative. I didn't know life could be this sweet.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdiola and I'd like to introduce you to our Project 111, which is the Fibroid initiative from Retail Banking Division of Access Bank. Now, just to tell you a little bit about it, we believe that we can help one woman, one family and one generation by our contributions to making sure that the woman's journey through fibroids is made easier. Now, it's very simple. Visit our website, our social media channels and just read about it, see how you can help get involved in our walks, in Fibroid Month initiatives, and any way you can help to make this journey a success. I found out I had uterine fibroids when I went to serve. I have to put fibroid first before myself. If I want to eat anything, fibroid first. I want to wear anything, fibroid first. I have to check if the clothes will expose my stomach because I was already weary of people asking me questions about my tummy. They start recommending things and giving me advice on my physical life, on how to live my life without even knowing half of what I'm going through. My way of life really changed because of fibroid. Like, oh man, I'm sorry. Anytime I talk about it, it's always so emotional because someone introduced me to a support group, Lady Oyinkan. She's a member of the W community of Access Bank. I told her about my situation, that I don't want to go under the knife and I'm looking for an alternative. She added me to a support group. I got a feedback in May that I have been selected to go through the first stage. I cannot begin to thank God enough for what the W community of Access Bank has done for someone like me. I am glad I was able to be one of the beneficiaries.
I see a light inside of you, so let it shine. It's time to spread your wings and fly. Reach for the sky. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go there, 'cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day, one day, one day. Yes, we believe in you. Don't you give up on yourself till the world knows who you are. Keep on shining. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. One day you'll be like the sun, so one day you go shine.
Access, more than banking.
When I first discovered I had fibroid, that was in 2015, suddenly my flow was extremely high. It was always affecting me when I had to work. I had to go meet my gynae and I was like, this is what I'm experiencing. He gave me some drugs. He said, use it, it will help the flow. Then you come and do a scan, let's know what the problem is. He said it's a place where if one isn't careful, could affect the womb. At that point, I said no to operation. There's this herb she could use. There's this drugs she could use. They were saying all sorts because I refused a blood transfusion. My weakness in marriage, I had to call her. I told her, look, madam, this is it. I've been scared all my life, but right now I've been told that my life is at risk here. She said that Access Bank is trying to sponsor a woman. She said, well, that The truth, it's one woman. You could be that woman. So when I went to the center, they did a scan. They said, okay, that I'll be sent to do an MRI. I was so happy and I was so touched that I was one of those who benefited from this. I'm a whole lot better because of Access Bank. And I say thank you very much for this initiative. I didn't know life could be this sweet.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdiola and I'd like to introduce you to our Project 111, which is the Fibroid initiative from Retail Banking Division of Access Bank. Now, just to tell you a little bit about it, we believe that we can help one woman, one family and one generation by our contributions to making sure that the woman's journey through fibroids is made easier. Now, it's very simple. Visit our website, our social media channels and just read about it, see how you can help get involved in our works, in Fibroid Month initiatives, and any way you can help to make this journey a success.
I found out I had uterine fibroids when I went to serve. I have to put fibroid first before myself. If I want to eat anything, fibroid first. I want to wear anything, fibroid first. I have to check if the clothes will expose my stomach because I was already weary of people asking me questions about my tummy. They start recommending things and giving me advice on my physical life, on how to live my life without even knowing half of what I'm going through. My way of life really changed because of fibroid. Like, oh, man. I'm sorry. Anytime I talk about it, it's always so emotional because someone introduced me to a support group, Lady Oyinkan. She's a member of the W community of Access Bank. I told her about my situation, that I don't want to go under the knife and I'm looking for an alternative. She added me to a support group. I got a feedback in May that I have been selected to go through the first stage. I cannot begin to thank God enough for what the W community of Access Bank has done for someone like me. I am glad I was able to be one of the beneficiaries.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to you all, depending on where you're joining from. And welcome to the Retail Banking Project 111 CSR Health Webinar. Please confirm you can hear and see me. Let me know in the chat room. Please confirm you can hear and see me before we go ahead. You can send a smiley or great. Fantastic. So my name is Joy Otto, and I have the pleasure of being your host this afternoon. So you may as well introduce yourself in the chat room, where you're joining us from, and your expectation from this webinar. I'll be expecting that in the chat room. Please introduce yourself, where you're joining us from, and your expectation. So I can see Oweyemi Usman from Lagos. Thank you so much for joining us. I can see Christiana Omolara, Mr. Ogu. We have a man in our midst. Thank you so much for joining us today. So the month of July is widely celebrated as Fibroid Awareness Month. And through this project 111, we have dedicated this month to creating awareness about fibroids. Now, this time last year, we also had a webinar just like this, which touched on types of fibroids, navigating fibroids, diagnosis, treatment option, and all that. Now, the theme for today's webinar is celebrating resilience, stories of triumph, coping, and healing. Today, we'll focus on sharing inspirational narratives of individuals who have triumphed over fibroids, demonstrating remarkable coping mechanisms and paths to healing. As you know, we have three amazing speakers joining us today, alongside fibroid survivors and beneficiaries of the Project 111 CSR initiative, who will be sharing their stories with us today. And that is not all. We also have a special announcement and gifts from Project 111 to you before the end of the webinar. So I'd encourage you to stay till the end and do not miss out on any of the conversation, on any of the activities today. You may as well invite anyone you know who could benefit from this session with the joining link. The joining link is being shared in the chat room. You can go through, click on the joining link, share with everyone who you think should be a part of this discussion today. As we dive into the conversation today, I want you to sit back, relax, get your pen and your notepads ready. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker to us. She's one of the Project 111 ESCOs and the Group Head of Consumer Banking at Access Bank. Please make welcome Njideka Esomeju as she gives us a welcome remark. Hi, Njideka. Good morning.
Good morning, Joy. How are you? And good morning, everyone, from wherever you're joining us, from Nigeria, from across the world. I can see that our audience this morning, we have people from all over Africa. This is our second edition. And thank you from Ridwan Amid to all the people who's coming from Adiolo Deku. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're really overwhelmed by the number of people we have on this call. And we're sure we're going to get a lot more people on this call. So this is Project 111 Fibroid Initiative, a CSR of the Retail Banking Division of Access Bank. My name is Njideka Esomeju, and I'm the Group Head for Consumer Banking. So we started this project a few years back to support women with fibroid. Fibroid is an issue in the country that is not really discussed. It's as if there's a bit of stigma to it. And we wanted to create awareness and let people know that it's not a life sentence, it's something you can live with, and it's something that can be cured, technically, taken care of. And fibroid are non-cancerous cells within the body of a woman in the womb, around the womb, and it causes heavy bleeding, very painful period, a lot of discomfort. In short, women that have fibroid, they don't really wear white. That's part of the things we introduced in Nigeria and said, okay, there's a day within our bank that we call Wear White Day. So when we formed this project, we told ourselves, you know what, we must impact lives. It's not about saying that you have a CSR initiative that is not impactful. This is quite impactful. What we've been able to do, our initiative is one woman, one family, one generation. Because you know, if you impact a woman, you will impact a family and you will impact a generation. So what have we done so far? We've raised substantial amount of money. We've been able to touch about 17,800 lives and a lot more, because you know, when you impact one person, you're not just impacting one person, you're impacting generations, the children on board that are about to come, the families that you relieve of the pain of what you go through when you have fibroid. We've been able to carry out about 100 operations across the country. And we made sure that we didn't just put it at Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. We went to places and asked people to apply, and we've been able to offer them surgery. These are from the contributions within the retail banking division. So the contributions are made by our staff, and we're happy that they did so. So we're going to continue, and we're going to do a lot more operations this year. I would like you to join us on this journey. And thank you so much, everyone, for the people that we invited to speak, for the panel of judges, panelists. We say thank you for coming and for your unwavering support. So now we'll watch a short video showing our initiative and the profound impact it has had on women's lives. Thank you very much. Over to you, Joy. Thank you.
Okay, we're expecting to watch a video of Project 111, which would come up very soon. While we wait for that video, I want to say thank you to Njideka. Thank you for that warm welcome remark. Do we have the video coming up? Okay, so we may get to watch that video later on as we go on. Okay, so let's go straight into the conversation. It's time to get down to the conversation today. I would like to mention that if you have questions during the presentation, please drop them in the Q&A box and not the chat room, because it will be mixed up with other chats that are going on right now. So please drop your question and answer in the Q&A box and indicate which speaker your question would be directed to or is directed to, so that your question can be seen and duly attended to. You can also share your fibroid stories in the chat box, because someone may just be inspired by your story. Okay. I'd like to call on our first speaker today. Our first speaker is Dr. Chinasa Amadi. She's a Russian-trained medical doctor, board-certified lifestyle medicine physician of the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine, and a UK-certified weight loss coach and nutritionist. She holds a master's degree in public health from the United Kingdom and is presently one of the 40 board-certified lifestyle medicine physicians in Africa. Dr. Amadi is passionate about helping her community to adopt healthy choices to live healthy lives. Her passion led to the founding of Africa's first digital lifestyle medicine practice, Ariella Health and Fitness Limited, which has now become the first and only brand to offer an internationally recognized CPD accredited health coaching course in Africa. She's a director of Queen of Peace Hospital and a co-founder of Trinity Rose charity organization. Dr. Amadi has practiced in the health, fitness, and wellness field for more than 13 years, teaching, advocating, and promoting the importance of a healthy lifestyle. She's an author and features regularly on TV, radio, print, and social media programs, where she shares her expertise on health and total wellness matters. Please, with your resounding clap smileys in the chat room, kindly make welcome Dr. Amadi. Dr. Amadi, do we have you here?
Yes, you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for having me. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Just a minute.
Okay.
Yes.
I can see your clap smileys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see it.
Excellent. So thank you so much again for having me here, and welcome to everybody. So today, let me just quickly enlarge this.
Yeah, please put it on slideshow.
Okay. So today, at the end of this session, we should be able to understand the basic information about fibroids, how to cope with fibroids, healing processes, and diet and meal planning. But first of all, a major shout out to Access Bank for, I was listening to the video earlier and it's amazing. Thank you for the good work you're doing. And please, if you are ready to learn, please put in the chat box that I am ready to learn. Just put something in the chat box to motivate me. Put something in the chat box that I am ready. I am ready. I want to learn. I want to know. Excellent. Put that in the chat box. Keep it coming. And then we move right in. So it's important to know, first of all, that fibroids are non-cancerous growths of the uterus that tend to appear usually during a woman's childbearing age. This is peculiar to women, and it is a non-cancerous growth. So they are called benign growths, abnormal growths in the uterus or on the uterus that they usually predominant during the woman's childbearing age. So you don't see it in children before their childbearing age, and you don't see it most of the time. If it has not appeared, it doesn't appear in menopausal women. So that is key to note about fibroids. And there are two main, multiple types, really. The submucosal, this is usually in the submucosal layer. The intramural is embedded in the muscle of the uterus. The subserosal is it's on the serosal, just under the serosal side of the uterus, And then the pedunculated fibroids, these ones are pretty much hanging. We also have even the cervical fibroids. Now, it's important to note that depending on the type of fibroid you have or one has, that most of the time determines the severity of the symptoms. So heavy menstrual bleeding may not present in every type of fibroid. So also it's important to know that fibroids, the symptoms are also dependent on the size of the fibroid, on the number of the fibroid. So not just the type, the size, the number, the location, all these determine, or all these usually show what symptom will a woman get. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. Some people may have fibroids, no heavy menstrual bleeding. Some people have menstrual bleeding. Some people have prolonged periods, pelvic pain, backache, even leg pain, feeling of fullness in the lower abdomen. Some people that have had fibroids, you can put that in the chat box. What kind of symptoms did you experience? And you'll see that there are different frequent urination. There are different symptoms that different women experience, and all these symptoms are valid, and they will help with the diagnosis of the fibroid you have. Now, there are certain misconceptions, and one of the key misconceptions is that all fibroids require surgery. It's important to know that they do not always, require surgery, because some people can have fibroids really for most of their life, and it's just there. It's just small, almost insignificant. Some people may have the ones that are significant and they require surgery. So it's important to know that we've already dispelled that myth that it's a form of cancer, because it is not a form of cancer. It's a benign growth. And we've also dispelled the fact that they always cause symptoms. They don't always cause symptoms. We've said that it depends on the type of the fibroid, the location of the fibroid, and the size and numbers of the fibroid that determines that. Now, having fibroids, another myth or misconception is that having fibroids mean that I can't have children. No, it doesn't always mean this. Now, in some cases, when the fibroid is embedded, it is located in the center of the uterus, big, numbered. It can affect implantation of the embryo, yes, but not all the time. That every fibroid means, oh, I can't have children. No, if the fibroid is also located, say, in the cervix, yeah, that may also, because it will also prevent, the sperm from getting into where it should get to cause, the fertilization. So it's those cases may differ, but it's important to know that it's not always this. No, it's not always that you can't have children. Now, global statistics show that fibroids affect 70 to 80% of women by the age of 50. Now, it affects Black women more than white women. So a Black woman is more likely to be diagnosed of fibroids. Fibroids are also called myomas. You may also see other terms calling it uterine fibroids. Other terms are calling it leiomyomas. They all mean the same thing. Now, it affects Black women more than white women. So Black people are more predisposed, and Africa has a higher prevalence, of course, because most of us are Black in this part of the world. So let's go right into coping mechanisms. Certain coping mechanisms, one, the emotional strategies that can be applied, stress management. When we're listening to the video earlier, one of the recipients said that when she was anything she's thinking about, she's first of all thinking about the fibroid. What should she wear? She's thinking about the fibroid. What should she do? She's thinking about the fibroid. That can be a source of consistent chronic stress. And it's important. One of the coping mechanisms is to be intentional with stress management. Intentionally being mindful, intentionally meditating, and seeking even professional help to help with manage anxiety and depression. I saw a post on I think that was on Twitter sometime last week, and people were talking about how their relationships, they lost their relationships just because they had fibroid. The man had heard that the woman has fibroid, so he called up the relationship. Another one said, oh, he just stopped picking my call. These are sources of stress, you know, and it can cause that heartbreak, not just even stress from the fibroid, but also stress from heartbreak. It's a lot. So it's important, and it can drive women into anxiety and depression. That is why counseling is very important. Seeking professional help is important as a coping strategy. Support system, the role of support system cannot be overemphasized, really, because support systems can help encourage a woman going through these situations. Most of the time, your spouse has to understand what you're going through, the anxiety that is arising from it. Not everybody in your family or your friend circle will support you. So I'll always recommend, look out for where you will get support from and stick there. Stick there. One of the recipients also talked about the support group, which was very, very impactful. And we'll hear about that as we move on, because support groups are so impactful as coping mechanisms, coping strategies. When you hear women, other people have gone through similar experiences, you are able to have someone to lean on for both shared advice and emotional support. Now, practical tips for managing pain and discomfort. It's important that you know that sometimes pain is a symptom, especially painful menstruation. It can make one very uncomfortable. Heat therapy is very good. Aside from over-the-counter pain medications, and even telling your doctor they'll provide some pain medication for you. But even if you don't want to do that, we have these hot water bottles. I learned of the hot water bottles when I was in secondary school, and we used to use the hot water bottles. I don't know if you know, please put that in the chat box that you know it. It's like a rubber bottle. You put in hot water and then put it on your lower belly. It's so soothing. It's a non-pharmacological way of relieving pain and discomfort. And above all, rest is important. In this day and age, we are almost losing sight of the concept of rest. Rest is a very, very efficient pain management technique. So it's important to be intentional about resting. Getting a good night's sleep can change the game. Lifestyle adjustment. This is usually first line in management. The moment you're diagnosed with any type of fibroid, it's important that you are making intentional lifestyle changes. And this includes regular exercise. So I always say, when we say regular exercise, we're not saying, oh, it's time for you to go to the gym and go and start carrying muscle. No need for that. You can walk. Walking is exercise. Dancing is exercise. You have kids, play hide and seek with your kids. But be intentional with exercising regularly. We'll talk about that again as we move. Maintaining a healthy weight is key, because studies have shown that women with more body mass tend to be more at risk for fibroids, okay? Aside from, of course, there's usually family history and, of course, being Black, but also if you have a woman with more weight, is more at risk. But that doesn't mean that those are the only people that have fibroids. No, but it increases the risk. So it's important to manage maintain a healthy weight. And we have talked about stress management. Please, are we together? Just give me a sign in the chat box that we're together, so that I know that we're together. Are we together? Are we together? That's in the chat box. Oh, perfect. Thank you for that emoji. I like to receive the support as we move. So healing processes. Now, there are varied treatment options. Just like the symptoms, vary with the type, the number, the size of the fibroid. So also the healing, the treatment options vary with the size, the number, the type of the fibroid. All this will determine what treatment option. So that's why it's very important that from the beginning, you start working with your physician, whether a reproductive endocrinologist or your gynecologist. You start working with them, with your lifestyle medicine experts, so that you are making the appropriate, options for the type and the number of fibroids that one has. Now, natural remedies include a lot of herbal treatments are coming up, and there's even dietary changes like increasing your fruits and vegetables. The pears and apples, they have this natural phenol that is called fluorectine, and this natural phenol, which is a phytochemical that is in pears and apple, it has been shown to be an effective estrogen blocker. So it helps to either naturally, depending on the size, and also to help to prevent fibroids. So fruits and vegetables are amazing sources of foods that can help with the treatment options. Also, recent studies, a lot of studies are evolving showing that green tea has a bioflavonoid that is very potent in both prevention of fibroids and helping to manage certain fibroids. Remember that I said the treatment options is dependent on the type, the number, the size of the fibroids. It's dependent on that. Now, that's for acupuncture also has its place in treatment options and natural remedies. Medical intervention. They are usually hormonal treatments for certain types of fibroids and certain sizes also, and minimally invasive procedures that are not the main surgery, okay? Now, surgical interventions, which is the one everyone knows, is the myomectomy, which is removing of the fibroids, or even in some cases, hysterectomy to remove the total whole uterus. So these are also part of the healing process, sharing personal stories and patient stories, like what Access Bank is literally doing today, sharing these stories, success stories from individuals who have undergone treatment, and they're giving testimonies and empowering and encouraging women to seek help. It was literally when I saw what was going on Twitter some days ago, that I was like, wow, this is a thing. This is it's giving room for even stigmatization. Like, people are stigmatizing women that have fibroids. So there needs to be constant, not just empowerment, but education around this. This conversation needs to be had, and people that have experienced and conquered and gone through, have had kids, have had successful relationships, need to be speaking up more, so that women are encouraged to seek help and explore the treatment options. It's important to know that early diagnosis is not negotiable. The moment you notice anything has changed in your females, your females, when I say females, that is like your period has changed its intensity, or you usually use 3 pads a day before. Now you're using 7 pads and it's still not holding. This is the time to go see your doctor. But be intentional with regular routine gynecological exams and ultrasound. And of course, awareness, constantly educating women on the symptoms, the types, the options, the healing options, the treatment options, and knowing that, hey, this is the time when you need to seek help. This is the time when you need to do this or do that, okay? Now, diet and meal planning. It's important to know that there are certain foods that you should avoid when you have fibroid, or you're trying to prevent fibroid, or you have been treated for fibroid and you do not want a reoccurrence. I know this will break a lot of people's hearts, but red meat is one of the foods to avoid, okay? Red meat is one food to avoid. And if you're not sure what red meat is, before you ask me if goat meat is red meat is any animal that has 4 legs, okay? That's just think of an animal with 4 legs, and that will give you an idea of what red meat is. So red meat needs to be avoided. High fat dairy products needs to be avoided. Caffeine. Caffeine, coffee. Some people are addicted to coffee. Coffee either in coffee form or in energy drink form or in whatever form. Some people are snuffing it, whatever form you're taking it, it is one thing that must be avoided. Alcohol, it's important to know here that there are no safe levels. So you won't say the one glass a day, will help me. No. Here there are no safe levels, so alcohol, no. Processed foods should also be avoided as much as possible. If you're not sure what processed foods are, when a food is in your plate, think about it and ask yourself, how far from the farm did this food go before it got to my plate? That will give you an idea of how the food was. If the food doesn't look like its parent, where it came from, then there's a problem. Let's do a quick example. So something like you're looking at semo, okay? And you're thinking, where did semo come from? Semo came from wheat. Does it look like its parent wheat? No, it doesn't look like wheat. So that is a processed food that needs to be limited. So that's an example. Foods that promote healing, we've talked about fruits and vegetables. Farm green leafy vegetables are so good. You need to incorporate them. They have these phytochemicals that are so good to help restore your body. And please, note that when we say they have these phytochemicals, you cannot compare eating fruits and vegetables and taking a supplement. There's a role supplement will play, but it's not the same thing because there are certain phytochemicals that have not been isolated from fruits and vegetables that you can get directly, okay? Now, whole grains include your corn, your millets, your guinea corn, your acha, those are all whole grains. Your lean proteins, so we're talking about your fish, your chicken, and other anti-inflammatory foods, which include your seeds and nuts. Seeds like flax seeds, chia seeds, nuts like cashew nuts, walnuts, and all that, okay? Now, hydration, drinking plenty of water is key for overall health. Now, let's look at the meal planning tip, okay? Because you may be wondering, okay, how will my diet, what can I do? This is a typical Nigerian breakfast or Nigerian meal, sorry. For those that are joining from other parts of Africa, these are just, we pretty much have similar meals. This is just the names we call it. So like ogina, we call ogi, which is pap, we call it ogi or pap. The Ghanaians will call it koko. So K-O-K-O, yeah? So it's pretty much the same parents, just different names. So example, breakfast, ogi baba. See, this baba part inside, you should know that it is the pap that is not sieved. So not the pap that is sieved, because when pap is sieved, the process of making pap, we usually sieve it to remove the chaff. When it is sieved, you lose a lot of the good stuff that should be helping you, okay? And when so you have to ensure that part you sieve out, it's in the pap. It asks me, you wonder how does it taste? It tastes the same thing. It even tastes nicer, and it's so good. Fortifying your pap with flax seeds or chia seeds, so good. And then you add in some fresh fruits. That's a typical breakfast. Now lunch, you have eba. Eba is also called gari. If you don't want eba or gari, you can do wheat, or you can do amala, or you can do cassava fufu, the real cassava fufu, yeah? Some people say odorless. I don't know why fufu became odorless, but let's not have that conversation today. It's the odorful fufu I'm talking about. With any traditional vegetable soup. Our soups are so good. You just don't need to pour in so much oil in them. But African soups are so good with any choice of fish. Remember that we talked about lean proteins. Now for dinner, we're talking about, you can have beans, you can have lentils, you can have that with some mushroom sauce or vegetable sauce. Any vegetable, you can use ugu or use aleho, that is green, or use yanapaja, or you can use uboro leaf. So different leaves, or you can use moringa, different vegetables, green vegetables you can use for your sauce. Then you can decide to have your snack, have some, on the way on the traffic, you buy some walnuts, the one with the black hard shell. You just crack that, have one or two, or you have some seeds, you can have benny seed, you can have sunflower seeds, and you can have some fresh fruits. So this is a very healthy, rich, whole food, very whole food, nourishing meal plan that can actually change the game in your overall female health. Additional points, regular exercise, aim for 150 minutes a week, okay? That's about 30 minutes, 5 times a week. Aim for that, let that be your target. Mental health, we've talked about, being intentional with stress management, being intentional with mindfulness, and that those mental wellness practices will help your game. Sometimes I sit down and I'm thinking, I'm by the beach sipping some green juice, looking at the sun with my glasses. I'm doing that in Lagos traffic, man. And the traffic stress will not even hit me. So, it's all about being mindful. And that's what I'm saying here. You have to be intentional with that. Alcohol and caffeine, we've talked about that. Staying off it will improve the female health overall. Those are foods that should be avoided in the healing process. A holistic approach is recommended, always combining lifestyle with whether surgery or medical treatment. A holistic approach is key for comprehensive care. So thank you so much for your attention. And that is it. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amadi. That was a lot. I hope we picked a lot of things from what Dr. Amadi has said. It's important to regularly exercise, manage stress. I know she was a bit fast, but of course, we should have been able to pick a few things from what she said. Avoid some sort of food, drink plenty of water, and I know we have questions for her, right? So like I said earlier, for your question and answer, put it in the chat, put it in the question and answer box. Do not put it in the chat room because it may be mixed with the chats going on. So if you have questions for Dr. Amadi, put it in the question and answer box and we'll pick it up once is the question and answer session. Thank you so much, Dr. Amadi, once again. So I'll take this moment to call back the Project 111 impact video we wanted to play before, so you could see the impact of this project so far. So we'll be playing the impact video right about now. Yes, they'll be playing it. Watch.
Project 111 is a CSR initiative by the Retail Banking Division dedicated to raising awareness and support for women living with fibroids. Our mission, which is to impact one woman, one family, and one generation at a time, aligns with one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which is good health and well-being.
When I first discovered I had fibroid, that was in 2015. Suddenly, my flow was extremely high. I was so happy and I was so touched that I was one of those who benefited from this. I'm a whole lot better because of Access Bank. And I say thank you very much for this initiative. I didn't know life could be this sweet.
Our impact speaks volumes. With over 87 million naira in staff contributions and over 1,200 participants in our fibroid awareness webinar across 33 countries, we have sponsored free fibroid surgeries for 77 women. 119 women have benefited from free diagnostic screenings and 16,066 participants from our health awareness sessions.
I want to seize this opportunity to thank God and to thank Access Bank for this kind gesture. I'm very okay now. If not because of Access Bank, I don't know what would have happened to me. So thank you to Access Bank.
Our commitment to making a difference remains unshakable. We have impacted thousands of women, families, and their generations by extension through this project. Project 111 has given hope to women who thought they could not bear children due to fibroids.
I found out I had uterine fibroids when I went to serve. I cannot begin to thank God enough for what Access Bank has done for someone like me. I am glad I was able to be one of the beneficiaries.
That's not all. On July 14th, 2023, we celebrated the Wear White Day across all our branches as part of our activities for the Fibroid Awareness Month. Our team showed up in white attire to give support and serve as an emblem of hope and strength to women living with fibroids, since most of them avoid wearing white outfits
due to the heavy bleeding caused by this condition. We have a number of life-changing activities lined up for 2024. We're ramping up efforts to provide fibroid treatment sponsorships to additional 200 women, Fibroid Health Walk and Health Webinars to let women know that they are not alone while raising awareness on the prevention, detection, and treatment options for fibroids. Join us as we give hope and restore confidence, one woman, one family, and one generation at a time.
What an inspiring video and impact so far. Would like to say a big thank you to the staff of Retail Banking Division at Access Bank for this laudable project. I'd also like to add that as of June 2024, the project has provided free fibroid surgeries to additional 37 women, making it a total of 144 beneficiaries. And this month, we're set to sponsor another 100. Yes, 100. So do not go anywhere because you may just be a part of that 100. Anticipate the special announcement that will be coming up before the end of the webinar. So don't go anywhere. Stay to the end of the webinar to hear the good news that Project 111 has for each and every one of us. Moving on right into the webinar, I had mentioned earlier at the beginning that we also have notable people who are survivors of fibroid, some of which are beneficiaries of the Project 111. Now, those women are here to share their stories with us. My first speaker, who I'll be introducing, is Lady Oyinko Okundele. She's the founder of My Gynae Foundation, a fibroid support group, and she was here with us last year at the webinar. She's here to share a story as a 3-time fibroid survivor and her connection to the Project 111 initiative. So please make welcome Lady Oyinko. Lady Oyinko, are you here with us? Hi, Lady Oyinko.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much to Access Bank for this opportunity. I'm really excited, like it's the second time running. Last year I spoke on this platform and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be able to share my story. Earlier on, the doctor mentioned that, sharing our story is so important because, that community, that, knowing that you have support, knowing that you're not alone, knowing that the journey is not, is not synonymous to you alone, is actually, one step ahead of, finding help and finding support. So I'm really grateful, to be here. This afternoon, I'm sharing on, resilience and, really excited that I have survived fibroids. I mean, I'm a 3-time fibroid survivor. I've had 4 major surgeries. 3 of them were myomectomies to get rid of fibroids. So I'm here to say to someone on this platform today that there is hope for you. Fibroid is only a condition. It's not a death sentence. So if you have been diagnosed with fibroids, you are in the right place because through Access Bank, even my community members have benefited, from their generosity. I'm really, really proud of what Access Bank is doing, especially because it's the members of staff that are putting money together, putting resources together to support other women. There's nothing as laudable as that. It's really beautiful, and I'm so grateful, to Access Bank. So I found out that I had fibroids sometime in 2001. I think that was the first time my doctor mentioned. It was because I had a routine, ultrasound scan. Nothing was wrong with me. I just wanted to, just check because I was told that, it's important that, people check themselves from time to time. I'll say to any woman here that, that's a good thing to be able to do. Just run checks regularly because, finding out your state of health is so profound, it's so important because if there's any challenge, if there's an issue, you're able to nip it in the body, you're able to, deal with it on time. So I had this ultrasound scan in 2001 and it revealed that I had multiple fibroids. Actually there were about 5, but they were small. So my doctor recommended the wait and watch approach. I see nothing wrong with this approach actually because some fibroids would never develop beyond the original size. But if you do want to adopt that strategy, I encourage you to have regular or periodic ultrasound scans, just so that you can monitor the growth. If the fibroid is increasing in size, then you do need to do something about it. In my case, I didn't do anything because, of course, my doctor said there's nothing to worry about. So I just left them. And sometime in 2005, I started having excessive bleeding. In fact, there was a time that my blood count was 4.6. The doctors marveled at the fact that I was still walking, I was still, alive. I was having constant headaches, I was having blackouts, I was having almost out-of-body experiences. I didn't really know what was wrong with me until, one day, the bleeding was so much that I just, was rushed into emergency in hospital. And then the doctors ran a scan and said, oh, you do have, fibroids. And I said, oh, actually, the doctor mentioned this fibroid sometime in 2001. What do I need to do now? He said, oh, you do need to have surgery. So I then had my first surgery in 2007. Of course, before surgery, I chickened out so many times because, no one wants to hear about surgery because the first thought is, oh, am I going to die? And that's the reason that a lot of people are afraid of taking ownership. I'm here today to speak to somebody that if you do need to, have surgery, don't be afraid. What you need to do is find the right doctor, make sure that you're speaking to a doctor that understands your condition, make sure that you're not going to all the doctors that are, those kind of doctors that are advertising on Instagram and giving, offering free surgeries that you're not sure about. Research into the doctor that you're speaking to. Make sure that that doctor actually knows their onions, and then you can go ahead. Prayerfully consider the hospital that you're going to, because in my case, that's what I did on the third time. The first 2 times, I actually didn't think it was a problem until, in 2000, so I had my first surgery in 2007. Then the fibroids grew back in 2010. I then needed to have a second surgery in 2013. In 2013, I had 2 surgeries back to back, actually. So I had a fibroid surgery, and then I also had a cyst taken out of my kidney. The doctors at the time in the UK said that, there was a relationship between the two, and, the story is so long that I really cannot share it all here. But by the second surgery, 6 weeks later, I realized that the fibroids were back, and I was like, what's going on here? And at that point, I realized that, there was something that I was not doing right. I was not managing my health. I was not taking charge of my own health. So today I'm saying to somebody that don't just rely on doctors. You need to be proactive in the management of your care. Make sure that, you are asking the right questions. If you do not ask the right questions, doctors really, I thank God for them, but sometimes they really just want to use the approach that is easiest for them. Sometimes that approach may not be good for you. In my case, the doctors were giving me an injection called Zoladex to shrink fibroids. I mean, this injection is to shrink tumors. The doctors on this group will know about it. The essence is to shrink tumors and sometimes to minimize blood loss. But when the fibroids are not totally taken out, and actually when you do take the injection, what happens is that some of the fibroids are so tiny because they shrink to the point where they're almost insignificant. They are not seen when the doctors are performing surgery. And right after the surgery, once you stop the injection, the fibroids have a tendency to grow back. So in my case, like I said, I wasn't asking the right questions, because if I had noticed from the first surgery that I did that the fibroids grew back, I should have known that that approach was not working for me. Because I wasn't taking charge of my health, I allowed the doctors to administer the same injection the second time. And of course, what happened? 6 weeks after, the fibroids were back. So again, I say to you, take charge of your health. You know your body more than any doctor. And so if there's something that is not going right in your body, you can quickly raise up your hand and say, doctor, I think you should try this approach. Doctor, why don't you do this? Doctor, why don't you do that? And how do you know what to do? It's by joining communities that, where you can ask questions, where you can be equipped with right knowledge, with right information. Project 111 is good because they're sharing information, they're sharing knowledge, but also, speak to people who've gone through the experience, who have, who can hold your hand and who can support you through the journey. So by the third time, this was third time lucky. Of course, it was my first surgery, but then I had found the right doctor. I went consulting from one doctor to the other because now I was very deliberate and intentional about finding the doctor that was going to, help me. Again, I was prayerful because, I just did not want to land in any any doctor's, hands. It was a special case because, of course, as a fourth major surgery, I needed to find the right doctor. So I did find my doctor. And again, I encourage you, make sure you find the right doctor. So then I had my surgery, and this is 6 years counting. I'm fine. I haven't had a repeat experience. And so I encourage you, join the community, find support, find help. There is help out there. You are not alone. There is help. You need to take ownership. Do not say that, oh, when I check, it means that I'm looking for bad news. It means that I want to hear that I have a sickness. No, in fact, if you check, you can nip things in the bud. If I quickly can mention that the cyst that was found in my kidney was actually a cancer, and this was in 2013. But thankfully, because I was checking for the fibroids, the ultrasound scan revealed the cyst, and the doctors were able to nip it in the bud. Thankfully, I did not need chemotherapy or radiotherapy. But again, this was because I was checking. I was proactive in managing my own health. So yes, that's what I will say today. We have a community that you can join if you do want to, speak to us further. It's a community of women that have benefited from, the Access Bank's initiatives and other, initiatives that we find out about quickly, because of course people know that we do this, and so they send us information, they send us free surgeries, discounted surgeries, and so you can be a part of what we're doing. Thank you very much again, Access Bank, for this wonderful opportunity. I'm really excited. I can go on and on, but I know that my time is limited, so I'm going to stop here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lady Oyinkan. Your story is very powerful and you're a very strong woman. Thank you for sharing. She mentioned a couple of things. Take charge of your health, be proactive in the management of your health, join a community that is support community where you can ask questions and, prayerfully find the right doctor, right? Thank you so much, Lady Oyinkan, for that, for sharing your story. My second speaker right now she's a beneficiary of the Project 111 initiative from the Southeast Zone. Her name is Chidebere Owapo. She's here to just share her story with us briefly, just as Lady Oyinkan has. Chidebere, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm on the phone.
Okay, please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, my name is Chidebere Akachko. I heard about this project from my uncle. He sent me a link. When he sent that link, I was I didn't have my mind. I was like, okay, let me just fill this thing. Then I filled it. But before then, bad experience about fibroid. Being diagnosed at a very young age. I just turned 23 when I was diagnosed, because I was having pain. Pain was too much. All of a sudden, I started having pain, sharp pain, bleeding in between periods. All of a sudden, so we started going to different hospitals, and they were calling huge amounts of money for the surgery. And honestly, we could not afford that money. So the experience was very bad, because I was at a point depressed, always sick, very lean. I had very shortage of blood. Any small thing, my blood is down. So, but when this project came up, they called upon me. I came for the test and every other thing. So when they called, I'm among the people chosen. I was very happy. And then I was scared because of the negative things I heard about it. But at a point, I had this faith in God and also in Access Bank, because it was them sponsoring it. Then I went ahead. So my surgery took place in February in Oka, a Life Hospital Oka. So after this surgery, I must confess, I've been much of myself. I've added a lot of weight and I'm living my best life. My health is now, I would say, it's now better. And then I want to thank this project. It's not really easy for me as a young girl suffering from this thing. It was a thing of pain, even for my entire family. Every of my family member would be like, how would you do this thing? I've taken a lot of medications, and these medications are what this person said, I have this drug, they will bring it, I'll take it. Sometimes I will even take some of them, and at the end of the day, I will start having this maybe vomit, I'll even faint after taking these local drugs. So these things was a very huge problem for me and my family until Access Bank intervened. And I want to thank Access Bank and every person that has contributed. I pray that God will continue to bless everybody that is among this project. And to you who will not lack. In fact, this project will continue to grow from grace to grace. And that's my prayer, because I'm a beneficiary. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chidebere, for sharing. These stories are really touching. Thank you so much, and thank you for trusting in us. And I'm happy that you're good. Your well-being is great, and you're living your best life. So thank you so much. Now proceeding into the webinar, we have a celebrity speaker with us today. She'll be our next speaker. I'd like to introduce her. She's the face that we all know, of course, a strong woman, an award-winning actor, in the person of Ini Dima-Okojie. I'll be reading her profile briefly, but before she speaks to us on her fibroid journey, just some days back, she has shared with us an update on her journey, and it's a privilege that we have her here on the webinar to speak more on this and, encourage everyone out there. So Ini is a Nigerian actress with the color and sass of a true 21st century millennial. She was born on 24th of June in Lagos State and hails from Edo State, Nigeria. Having made a key career switch from investment banking into the world of acting, Ini has constantly evolved and thrives on taking on challenging roles and characters with depth. Her versatility and prowess in front of the camera has landed her several leading roles in movies that have gone on to become massive box office hits in theaters and global platforms, including the widely acclaimed Nollywood-Bollywood hits collaboration Namaste Wahala in 2021. She's noted to have a strong fashion sense and a delectable taste and love for the sartorial, and has evolved into a style icon and muse for some of the top designers out of the continent. She has also featured in Vogue Germany and UK, among several other magazines. Her work ethic and dedication to her craft is unparalleled and has distinguished her as a filmmaker's delight, leading to several recognitions and awards, including being nominated for Best Actress in the upcoming 2023 AMPCA, for her role in the leading series Flossom. Ini is dominating Africa's entertainment industry in film, fashion, and lifestyle. And I couldn't agree less. Please, with your resounding clap smileys, make welcome Ini Dima-Okojie. Hi, Ini. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, hello, Joy. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you. All the love in the comments.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone that has spoken so far, and a huge thank you to Access Bank for this initiative. You guys are touching lives, and I couldn't be happier to be a part of it. So thank you. And then, let's just dig right in. I don't know if everybody on this webinar has seen or heard about my journey, but I've been quite vocal about it. I recently came out and shared that my fibroids had been back, but let's rewind a little bit. I want to talk about the reason that I shared my story both times, and there were three major reasons. The first one is, before 2017, which was when I found out that I had fibroids, I was clueless about fibroids. I had never heard about fibroids before. So it was very shocking for me when I started doing my research, and some people would even call it the Black woman's disease. And you can just imagine, Africa is one of the most populated continents that we have. We have so many Black women in the diaspora. And this is a disease that affects us in our prime, our childbearing, age. So it's very serious. And
80% of women, we can say 70 to 80, but let's say 80% of Black women are affected by fibroids by the time they are 50. That is insane as far as I am concerned. So for me, it was, how can something be so rampant, can be so severe, so traumatizing, can cause such issues in a woman's body at her prime? And as at 2017, I'd never heard of it. So that was the first thing for me. Then, of course, the next reason I shared my story was because I honestly felt alone. 2017, up until I had a myomectomy, I felt so alone. I felt like it wasn't something I could speak about. I remember leaving the doctor's office and feeling more alone and more confused than I had ever felt, because I remember, as it was the man that attended to me, and he told me, I asked, of course, what caused the fibroid? Like, I wanted to know, did I do something? What caused the fibroid? We don't know. Okay, what can I do to, is there a cure? There isn't a cure. We can just manage it. What should I do? You take a look and watch approach if it's not disturbing you. Okay, so is there anything I should do? And I'm not even joking. This is going to sound like a joke, but this doctor told me to go and get pregnant. I don't know if he thought it was funny, but I didn't find that funny. Like, this was 2017. I was in my 20s. I was single to stupor. I had my whole life ahead of me, and I've been having symptoms that were plaguing me, and I don't know if it was supposed to be a joke, but this doctor literally told me to better do and get pregnant. And that is just the level of attention I feel like fibroids has gotten, just not good enough. So between 2017 to 2020, initially the fibroids were small, so I was told to just leave it. If it was, they'll tell you, if it's not disturbing you, don't disturb it. So I did not disturb it. But then, by like 2019, I was still having symptoms in terms of like heavy flow and all those discomforts, but then my lower abdomen started to like swell and it started to get rock hard. And I remember, like, at that time, sometimes maybe when I post like a video or something, and it's funny because I really work out, so the top of my belly was very flat, but then my lower abdomen was a bit swollen, and then people would leave comments like, is she pregnant, all those funny comments. So for me, mentally, it was a lot. I was dealing with so much. I could only confine in my family, which were as supportive as they could be, but I really felt alone. And then fast forward to 2020. In fact, at that time, the fibroids, it grew exponentially, and it was at that point life-threatening. And my doctor at the time had, insisted that I take it out, but then lockdown happened. So I had to push that to the side, and I would eventually have this myomectomy. I think it was either late November, but I think I talked about it in December. In November, I had the myomectomy. And, for anyone that has gone through that process, it was, I don't know how Lady Onyeko actually did that surgery more than once. I doff my hat to you, but it was intense for me. And the fibroids I had were so massive. So the cut they had to do for me was end to end. So it was just not an experience that I ever wanted to think of again. I did heal well. In fact, I think I'm actually lucky because it took me about 3 months to feel like myself again. And, everything was fine after that. But, fast forward to this year, I realized that I had fibroids again. So I was told that it could come back, but for some reason, I thought it was rare for some reason, Now, down to the third reason I wanted to come out with my story. I felt like it was very important to destigmatize fibroids. Like, the sheer panic that people have when they hear that you have fibroids is alarming. I'm so glad that Dr. Chinasa,
educated us on all the myths about fibroids. But I remember mentioning, to some people close to me then that the first time that I wanted to tell my story, and it was like, no, you can't, the sheer panic. And I'm like, no, like, this is not, I haven't done anything to be ashamed of. I didn't do anything to cause this. So many women are plagued by this. Some people may have this and not know. It's not even like there's a drug I can just go and take to cure the fibroids. For me to find any cure, I have to research and look for communities. Like, we have to look for community medicine. So why is it such a big deal for me to talk about it? Like, if anything, it's important I talk about it. So I just want to say to anyone that has fibroids, whether it be fibroids, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. And I want you to write it down in the comment section. I have nothing to be ashamed of. You have not done anything. It is not our fault that we are Black, beautiful women, with amazing uteruses that are so complex and multi-layered that we are plagued with this. And I just wanted to write, I have nothing to be ashamed of. I have not done anything. I am not my fibroids, and that is just the message I want to put out there. So for me, the stigma around it really annoyed me. And I just could imagine how many people were feeling the way I was feeling for so many years, and being shy to talk about it, being asked, are you pregnant? Even the fact that people are so ignorant about it that, you might see someone with like a swollen belly and you're like, oh, congratulations. And, for them, it's so far from congratulations at that point. But now, with more awareness, I think just generally, people just need to know to be nicer. You don't think before you talk. You don't have to say everything that is in your mind, and just be more aware that there's a lot more going on in the world with women than you see. I know we are strong. I know that despite everything, we take care of everything in the home. We still go to work with all of the pain. I know it's not written on our foreheads, but a lot is going on. And I just felt like it was awareness. We just needed more awareness. People needed to know more about fibroids, women and men, so that we can just look out for each other. And, until there is this wonder drug, at least we can now openly share our tips, share our experiences. I thought I had researched the world about fibroids. Just, talking about it a few days ago, there's so many new tips that I've learned about, and that wouldn't have been possible without sharing my story. So those were the 3 major reasons why, I came out with my story. And I know, like, I'm so glad, for the courage to do that, because the impact has been massive. My phone, I'm not able to keep up with my phone, but no matter what, I'm going to go through every single story and, just touch as many people as possible. There's something that Dr. Chinasa hacked on that I didn't even realize. I didn't realize that you could have fibroids without any symptoms. I didn't realize that. And I've been preaching, going for scans. I'm even currently, sponsoring a couple of women to get their scans done. The fact that you might even have fibroids and not get any symptom is even makes it more important to check, guys. You need to check. You need to actually do your periodic checks, please. That is very, very important, because I feel like early detection for anything helps, more so with fibroids. If you can detect it when it's small, at least hopefully through like holistic medicine or whatever route you decide to take, it will be easier than when it starts to get too enlarged. So it's important to just take charge. Another important thing that most of the speakers have been hacking on is, doing your research. It's important to research, because it does kind of reset your life. There's something that one of the beneficiaries said in the video that when she said it, I was just like, yep. She said that anything she was doing, she had to put fibroids first. And I could relate to that so much in terms of what I wore, what I was going to eat. It just felt like I had to put fibroid first. But then another thing we need to remember is that with fibroids, it's not just, watching your diet, you need to watch your stress level. So if it's top of mind and it's giving you so much anxiety, you're releasing cortisol into your system, which can enlarge the fibroid as well. So it's not easy, but we have to try as much as possible to de-stress. Don't let anything work you up. Fibroids is not a death sentence. It can be, I know it can be a bit traumatic, but now these days, there are more and more things that would help us manage it. So that stress level, we have to, first of all, we have to get ahead of that and make sure we try to de-stress. Then I have to talk about the diet. One thing I'm trying this time, like I said, I don't want to do another myomectomy. I just refuse. So this period, I want to try, the more holistic method, and we'll see. So for the past few months, I have completely changed my entire diet. I saw some people crying in the comments. I'm even going to make you cry more, because I think Dr. Chinasa, she was trying to not scare you too much. So she put everything in a ballpark, but I want to kind of hack on certain things. So 100% red meat, including our beloved goat's meat that we like to tell ourselves is white meat, is out of the way. Caffeine, I used to love coffee. And then I started to take decaf the first time I found out I had fibroid, but now I've completely taken out caffeine and I have my green tea, which Access Bank has even given me a cup of this morning. So no caffeine, no alcohol, guys, no refined carbohydrates. And I'm saying that for my Nigerians and Africans because we love our rice. Refined carbohydrate is out of it. You can find alternatives like bulgur. I think local rice, maybe Dr. Chinasa, if she comes on later, she can speak about that. Our local rice, some people call it ofada. Ofada rice. I take bulgur, but I think local rice might also be fine. I'll let Dr. Chinasa speak to that. But your refined carbohydrate, pasta, rice, bread, all those things we love so much, we have to ditch it. Dairy, right? Especially high fat. So your milk, cheese, you have to find alternatives to it. I know it's not easy, but we have to try. Sugar, she mentioned processed food, but I want to hack it. Sugar, guys, sugar is just a no-no when it comes to fibroids. So you have to eliminate it. You have to try. I think I've kind of covered. And then just do your research. Whenever you are going to take anything, please do your research on what it is made from, if it's safe for you with fibroids. Your phone is one step ahead. It's just literally, we are always with our phone, so just always research what you're taking in and what you're putting into your body. So I feel like it's a mind, body, and soul thing. You have to watch what you put in your body. You have to watch what you watch, being in charge of your mind, being in control of your mind, being in control with your mind, body, spirit. I'm Christian. I really believe that there's nothing that God cannot do. So by God's grace, when we do everything humanly possible, I believe that with the divine power of God, He will see us through. And my prayer again is that one day there will be a remedy, a permanent remedy, because I also don't want to live, I don't want to have to live my life so conscious and carefree. I like that it's keeping me healthier, but I don't want to live my life thinking about fibroids for the rest of my life. So I really hope that one day, there's a lasting remedy for us. And just to wrap this up, again, my heart goes out to everyone that is dealing with fibroids. I know it is not easy, but you are not alone. Fibroids is not a death sentence. It is important for us to, hold each other's hands and share as many tips as we can. And once again, thank you so much, Access Bank. This Project 111 initiative is amazing, and I really applaud you guys. And, however I can be of assistance, just always let me know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ini. Thank you for sharing a part of you with us. We really appreciate it. You said almost everything. For those of us living with fibroids, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Speak up, be a part of the community. Early diagnosis is important. It's very, very important. Do your regular checkups. Watch your diet, very, very important. And it is not a death sentence. With the right support system, we can all scale through. So thank you so much once again, Ini. I see all your questions, just a little bit more time and we would answer all the questions as much as we can, okay? I also want to mention that we have a special announcement before the end of the webinar, so please stick with us till the end so that you can be a part of that. Now, we've heard from survivors, we've heard from a lifestyle medicine physician on dieting, we've heard from Ini on her experience and the new realities. Let's hear from a doctor, right? The doctor, this doctor is no ordinary doctor. He's a specialist on this matter. And to be very sincere, he was our first partner on this project 111. He's none other than Dr. Abayomi Ajayi. I'll read his profile shortly before he comes up. So he's the founder of East Care Nigeria Limited, an investment company focused on the healthcare sector in Nigeria and West Africa. In 2003, he founded Nordical Facility Center to provide the latest and most advanced assisted reproductive services for treatment of male and female infertility and related issues, with offices in Abuja, Asaba, and Lagos. His innovative and entrepreneurial spirit made him champion more medical solutions in Nigeria's health sector, where he introduced the high-flow machine, amongst other very notable procedures. This led to the setting up of the Fibroid Care Center, a dedicated specialist center focused on the non-invasive and minimally invasive treatment of benign gynecological conditions such as uterine fibroids and adenomyosis. Dr. Abayomi Ajayi is the convener of the Dr. Abayomi Ajayi Physicians Mentoring Program, a platform aimed at providing mentorship and guidance for young medical professionals, and an alumnus of Stanford University's Seed Institute for Innovation in Developing Countries. Please, with your warm round of applause, kindly make welcome Dr. Abayomi Ajayi. Dr. Abayomi, are you here with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you so very much, Joy. And
welcome.
Thanks.
Very welcome. So,
yes.
Yes, so we'll get right into the conversations today. But I'd like to ask a few questions. I mean, from what has been said so far, what's your take? What do you have to say? We've heard from Ini, we've heard from our health physician, we've also heard from our survivors. What do you have to say concerning fibroids?
Yes, let me start by thanking Access Bank for this opportunity that you've given to me. Each time I have this opportunity to hear people talk about what they go through, it's actually sobering for me. And it makes me to see that there's still a lot that we can do as doctors, especially with the education of our patients. And therefore, when Access Bank is providing this kind of platform, I think it's something that should be praised. Okay. Like I said, but I need to put some things into context during the discussion. Okay, maybe I start by saying that, okay, about 30% of fibroids are not, about 50% of fibroids do have symptoms. There's just a lump in the abdomen. And so that's why you find it only probably when you go for your annual physical, just like Lady Unicorn said. Okay, but out of this fibroids, only about 30% that have symptoms. Okay, so one of the problems we are having now is that they grow so big in this environment because most people after diagnosis don't do anything about it, especially if it's not life-threatening. And what that means is that it gets bigger. When you want to do the surgery, it's more difficult for the doctor if you're doing the surgery. And that's why now we're talking more about non-invasive methods that you can is as simple as you just lying down on the bed and then the treatment is done. That's one of the reasons why we went to see how we could introduce this very non-invasive method so that it takes away this fear of course, every day we hear something about fibroids. Either someone has died or somebody has been hospitalized. So we want to take that gory story away from fibroids. And so that's one of the things that we need to look at. Also, diet. Sometimes yes, diet is important, but sometimes we need to put it in context that we hope that is going to prevent fibroids, because we are not too sure of what causes fibroids yet. So we don't have the panacea, if you like to say. So these are things that we think might generally help to reduce the growth of uterine fibroids. So those are my starting points.
Thank you very much. Very, very apt. I'd like to talk about life after surgery, right? What can patients expect immediately after undergoing a fibroid surgery? Because most of the times they just feel like, oh, after the surgery, that is it, right? I mean, we've heard from a couple of people today, but what exactly should their expectation be? And can you throw more light on the typical recovery process, including timelines and, considerations during recovery?
Okay, thank you so very much. Now, let's look at surgery in let's say two parts to start with. What you say is curative. I heard somebody earlier on say that the only cure for fibroids is hysterectomy. Okay, that is removing the uterus and the fibroids. But can you do that for somebody who still wants to have a baby? The answer is no. So myomectomy is the commoner surgery in this part of the world, and I think almost everywhere else. But this myomectomy or the hysterectomy can be done in two ways. The invasive, which is to cut, or the non-invasive, which is the pinhole. What we've tried to do is to deal for now with the minimal access or the non-invasive, but the minimally invasive, sorry. And then HIFU is the non-invasive. Non-invasive in the sense that on the day of the surgery, if you like to call it, the doctor does not even touch you at all. The doctor is on a table, you are on your table. The nurse is near you. And so it's as easy as that. Now to talk about timelines, depends on the surgery that you have done. If you have done the invasive, we heard what Ini said, it takes you about 4 to 6 weeks to recover from that. Okay. If you have done the minimally invasive, it takes you about 2 to 3 weeks to recover from that. Okay, that's if you have done laparoscopy, because there are two types of non-invasive, minimally invasive. The one that you go through the belly button or the navel, the one that you come from the vagina. If you are lucky that all you have is we need to come from the vagina, that's, you can, from the second day, you are good. But with the non-invasive also, which is HIFU, from the second day, you are good. And so those are some of the things that we look at. And then some complications that could arise from the invasive, okay? And that's because when people talk about myomectomy and everybody is fearful, what are the problems that can arise from it? Most of the time, it's not only the surgeon who is doing the surgery, okay? Anesthesia is a component that could go terribly wrong, okay? Then, of course, because the uterus is a very vascular organ, that is, the blood supply to the uterus is very high. Fibroids on their own tend to form new blood supply. So it makes it like a double whammy. So the surgery is usually very bloody, okay? So many people will have blood transfusion after. Sometimes something goes wrong with the blood transfusion as well, okay? Now, after you have been discharged, some other things could go wrong, which we rarely talk about in Nigeria. That is to form blood clots in your system, what we call embolism, okay? Some people, because, our women are usually bigger, you are on the bed for about 2 weeks, your BMI is high, you're on the bed for about 2 weeks, you are a potential candidate for forming clots in your system. And then so you see some people after they be discharged from hospital, they now have this embolus. And this usually leads to a lot of problems. And then again, people, because we said majority of the people still want to have children, but sometimes because of the number of fibroids that they have, sometimes you see a doctor removing 20, 30 siblings from one person. Most of the time, the uterus is going to be compromised in the process while they're taking out the fibroids. So sometimes you now have scar tissue being formed inside the uterus. So what you wanted to achieve, which is a pregnancy, after the surgery, you can't achieve it. Okay. And then, of course, we spoke about recurrence again. Once you keep the uterus, no matter the method that you use, there's a chance of recurrence. Okay. But there's some things that we need to look out for that might increase the recurrence rate. So I think I'll stop with that.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That reoccurrence, that brings me to the next question, right? So how likely is it for fibroids to reoccur after surgery? Most people do it once and they are good, right? Most people do it more than once and it still keeps reoccurring, like the stories that we've heard today. So how likely is it for fibroids to reoccur, and what factors can actually influence this reoccurrence? I know dieting is very, very important, but what other factors, and how can patients manage their health to avoid the risk of reoccurrence? Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Let me say that you might not completely be able to avoid recurrence. Like I said, as long as the uterus is still there. But let's look at what science says. The recurrence rate also depends on the method you use for treating the fibroids. If you do open myomectomy, for instance, it's been seen that your recurrence rate is about 20% in 5 years. Okay, we've had a few examples here where it's even a few weeks after. We address that later on. Now, but generally is about 20% in 5 years. Okay, for when you are doing laparoscopic myomectomy, okay, pinhole surgery, then your recurrence rate is even higher. It's up to about 50% in 5 years. Why? Somebody has mentioned, I think it was Lydia Yukon when she was talking about her story. During the surgery, the way the doctors are able to see small fibroids is by touch. Okay, to remove the small fibroids. Because you do not touch the fibroid during laparoscopic myomectomy, the smaller ones are likely to be left alone. Okay, they won't see them. So the recurrence rate is higher. Though it is more cosmetic, the recovery is faster, but the recurrence rate is a little bit higher than open myomectomy. And with HIFU also, the non-invasive method, the recurrence rate is even lower, a little bit just lower than when you do open myomectomy. Now, what are the factors that can lead to recurrence? That's what you asked me. And I'm going to say that, okay, if you have had surgery, one of the things that we know that can lead to recurrence is the surgery is done after age 36. The older you are before you attended to the fibroid, because of the chances that there will be smaller ones growing. Don't forget that the problem here is the uterus, okay? So it can, once they have grown fibroid before, it can also always grow fibroids again. So if that has been seen that if you are over 36, the recurrence rate is higher. If you have more than 2 fibroids at the time that the surgery was being done, the recurrence rate is higher. Now, if you have a childbirth after the surgery, the recurrence rate is about 2.8-fold higher than when you don't have children after the surgery. So I'm still going to come to, go and have a baby, go and have a baby. Yeah, that is true, but it's also not particularly very true. Okay. So the experience of the surgeon also takes a toll here. If the doctor does not look out for those smaller ones, the recurrence rate is going to be higher. But also there's something that we call adenomyosis, which is like endometriosis of the uterus. When we say endometriosis, it means that the inner lining of the uterus is in a particular place. So there's some people who bleed into the muscle of the uterus, and we call that adenomyosis. It looks so much like fibroids. But the problem is that it's bleeding into the muscle of the uterus, so it cannot be removed. So if the doctor does not do adequate investigation to be able to differentiate between fibroids and adenomyosis, then you can get that kind of experience, where 6 weeks after, you see that it has come back. Fibroids don't grow that fast. So something has happened there. So, and you know, Nigerians, the next time they even have that, they just go to another doctor and they don't even report back to the doctor who had that experience, who probably will be able to think and say, oh no, I saw adenomyosis. Maybe this is not the best way to do that. The good news is that adenomyosis is treated by HIFU. The best treatment for adenomyosis is HIFU, because don't forget we said it's bleeding into the muscle of the uterus. Now, what can you do in order to prevent recurrence? Okay, the things that you can do yourself. Exercise. I think all the speakers have mentioned this. Diet, high fiber diet, fruits and veggies are good. Avoid red meat, everybody has said that. Avoid alcohol, everybody has said that. Now, if you have blood pressure, if you are hypertensive, control your high blood pressure. That also is seen to lead to recurrence. And then there is also one thing now that we're talking about. There is a class act in the US now about hair relaxers. They've seen that Black women who use hair relaxers are more prone to having fibroids. Okay, and so there is a lawsuit now against the people who are making hair relaxers, and they are gathering all the patients from all over the United States of America. Of course, these are all Black people. All right. So these are things to avoid. Now, people have also, the speakers have before me have spoken about how to cope. Counseling, support group, mental health. One thing I've seen, I've been doing fertility treatment for quite a while, but the last 3 years that we've been doing fibroids made me to see one thing that we've been missing. The importance of mental health in even fibroid treatment. And now we have actually incorporated mental health treatment into our therapy, because majority of these people who have been, either they don't have supportive, people are not supporting them, they just like Ini said, she felt alone, Then also the support groups like what Lady Onyekon runs, what you guys are doing now. Support group, they're very, very important. Do not allow fibroids to make you feel alone. We've said it, 70 to 80% of women before the age of 50 have fibroids. So definitely you are not alone. And now there are many ways of treating fibroids. It does not always have to be surgery. And you need to know that it does not have to be surgery alone. So, and therefore you don't have to start beating yourself if fibroids is diagnosed. Like I think somebody said, it's not a death sentence. And fibroid is not a death sentence. And therefore, please get help and get appropriate help. We've done 493 cases of HIFU in Nigeria now. And so it's no longer anything new in Nigeria. And we also already have another machine in Abuja now to be able to help women who have fibroids. Because we have seen that is a very common thing that is rarely spoken about. Majority of the people go into wrong hands, and therefore it becomes more complicated.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ajayi. That insight was very, very apt. I have one more question for you. So what factors can influence reoccurrence? Are there any misconceptions about the recovery process that you would like to address?
Oh, wow. Yes. One of the misconceptions to start with is that people think that once they've treated fibroids, they will get pregnant. Okay. Now, it's only about 2 to 3% of fibroids that cause infertility. Most of the time, infertility has its own cause. So before you do your fibroid surgery, it's important that your infertility is investigated. Okay, because that's where people now, I've read so many people making comments about they've not been able to get pregnant even after fibroid surgery. Yes, because if the male factor is the problem, you will not be able to get pregnant. So it's important that you actually do proper investigation for infertility before tackling the fibroids. Sometimes the fibroid does not need to be tackled. Somebody also said that before me. Sometimes you don't need to remove the fibroids. Many people get pregnant with fibroids. So we need to be sure that your fibroids need to be removed. So that is one major misconception. Another major misconception, especially with people who have HIFU treatment, is that they equate it to removing the fibroids. What we tell them is that HIFU does not remove your fibroids, it kills your fibroids. And so what happens is that your symptoms just become better. All the bleeding that we've spoken about, heavy bleeding, the menstrual pain, the frequent urination, for some people, they can't even have intercourse. So these are things that just, they go away. But the fibroid go over time because they shrink over time. Because they are dead, they shrink over time. And so what we have seen is that in our center, in the first 3 months, about 33 to 44% of the fibroids will have shrunken. In the 6 months, 44 to 57% will have shrunken. 9 months, 49 to 62, and then 12 months, about 55 to 70%. But the good thing is that these fibroids even continue to shrink after 1 year. So that is the misconception that I want many people to. One of our patients had a baby after HIFU treatment, and she cataloged our experience properly, how the pregnancy was uneventful. She had delivery by cesarean section, and even in America, the doctors did not, what? How did you have this fibroid and you had a baby? And she told them I had HIFU done. They had to go and research what HIFU, because even this is not in America, it's just catching up now in America. It started in America many years ago, but now the other parts of the world are taking over from the States. So these are things that the misconceptions that we need to address and educate people on.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Ajayi. Thank you so much for answering those questions for us. We would have many more questions for you as we dive into the question and answer session, because I know a lot of questions have been coming in for all of our speakers. So we'll be going into question and answer very, very shortly. But before that, there's a feedback poll that will pop up on your screen. Please let us know how we did. Fill the feedback form. And right after question and answer, we'll be sharing the special announcement and how you can be a beneficiary. So stick around for a lot more time, right? So it's important to note also that there are free screenings and health talk taking place throughout the month of July in different states. If you want more information of that, you can follow the links that are being dropped in the chat room. So let's go right into question and answer. I have some questions here. So my first question, I'd like all my speakers to please come online if you want to put on your camera. My first question is for Dr. Ajayi. Can fibroids completely shrink off?
Yes, depends on the size where you started from. We've had some people that you can't even detect them anymore.
Okay. So my next question is for Dr. Chinasa Amadi. What are the local names for chia and flax seeds? Dr. Chinasa, are you here? And does Zobo drink help with fibroid shrinkage? Did you hear my question?
Sorry, I don't think I didn't get the question. I heard about Zobo drinks, but I didn't hear the first part.
Okay, the first one is, what are the local names for chia and flax seeds? And does Zobo drink help with fibroid shrinkage?
So Zobo is good for evidence-based, good for high blood pressure, which, like we have heard, Dr. Ajayi told us, reduce your high blood pressure, you reduce that. So you can go, if you want to go that route. that can work, but directly, not directly, no evidence showing that yet. For chia and flax seeds, really, if you enter the regular market and ask for chia seeds and flax seeds, they know. They really do know.
Okay. Okay, thank you. This question is for Dr. Ajayi. Can uterine fibroids with the largest at 13 centimeter be shrinked through traditional methods combined with healthy diet? I do not want to go under the knife.
I'm the wrong person to ask question because what she's asking of is the traditional, I don't know what traditional method is, and the diet. Diet, we need to be careful about diet. We're saying that it can prevent. We're not saying that it will always shrink. Do you understand? So healthy lifestyle is important even beyond fibroids. Your diet is important. You're made of what you eat. There's no doubt about that. But when you have fibroids and you are bleeding, I think we need to be careful. Again, because if you are faced with infertility at the same time, you're going to be wasting the best time for your fertility drinking green tea and whatever. Do you understand what I'm not against green tea. I'm not against anything, but you need to balance your decision making such that by the time now you discover, look, my sister many years ago had that experience. And that's why she has only one kid, you know. So I'm a little bit, I don't know about, let me just say I don't know. So it's safer. Maybe
Okay.
somebody else wants to take it.
Okay. This question is for Ini. Do you have any support group that we can join, or do you know any?
I mean, I currently have a newsletter. So if you go to my Instagram, it's linked to my bio. There's also something called Ini Circle, where we kind of discuss these issues. There are a lot of women there that have fibroids and share tips. But yeah, you can join my newsletter. It's also linked to my bio on Instagram.
Okay. Thank you very much for that answer. There are lots of questions on food, healthy diet. What can I eat and what can I not eat? And I'm sure that it's Dr. Amadi that can answer this question. So Dr. Amadi, do you want to drop a contact for people to reach you? Because someone is asking if you can share a tailored meal plan for individuals that are willing to pay. So do you want to drop a contact details?
I'll do that in the chat box if that works, or I just give my WhatsApp number and the chat box, whichever one works.
Anyone is fine, so that
you
can
reach you. Can just send a WhatsApp on 234-090-2271-3581.
I'm not sure they got that again, please.
So 234 Nigerian code 9022713581. So yes, you could always request a personalized meal plan. But remember what I said, that it has to be a holistic approach. So you are combining all forms of management. And like Dr. Ajayi said, that it's not a one-size-fits-all. So it's important you are working with your gynecologist and also doing this. So it's a holistic approach to management, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I have a question for Dr. Ajayi. This person says, good afternoon. I had my surgery last year, 30th October. Can this cause hormonal imbalance? My period lasted for 2 months and it stopped, and it didn't come for another 2 months. I ran tests and they found nothing. May I know if this is related?
Well, the surgery does not lead to hormonal imbalance, okay? But the surgery can lead to something we call adhesions, like I said, scar tissue forming in your uterus. And that can start with irregular period to no period at all. So I think the first thing you need to do is probably go back to your doctor, if he's a gynecologist, because now in Lagos, it's not only gynecologists who do myomectomy. All kinds of doctors do myomectomies. And I would really frown at that, you know, because if myomectomy is not just a surgery for kids, really. So, because it can go awfully wrong. So if it's a gynecologist that you've seen, please go back and have a consultation with the gynecologist.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. There's another question here. Hello, thank you so much for the amazing presentation. It was highly impactful. I have been diagnosed with PCOS and I have struggled with very irregular periods. My question is, does having intercourse delay periods? Because the times when I'm inactive, my period can be late for about 2 to 3 days. Whereas when I'm active, it can be 5 to 15 days late. Why does this happen? Yeah.
Okay, that's for me.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes. If you really see, the thing is that if you really have PCOS, okay, the hallmark is that you might have irregular menstruation. Okay. And that is because you are not ovulating regularly. And you need to see the doctor for that, whether you are busy or you are not busy, because it might affect your chances of having a child. But of course, the question usually is, how was this PCOS diagnosed? You know, because there's 2 out of 3 things that we look out for that we say somebody has PCOS. So I think maybe if the person can just chat me up a little after the program, I'll be willing to help.
Okay. Thank you so much. Lady Oyinka, somebody asked, were you married when you found out? And did you get pregnant afterwards? Thank you for sharing your story. Do you want to speak to that, please?
Thank you very much. So when I found out I had fibroids, I was actually single. I wasn't married. But subsequently, the one that happened in 2010, I was married. And I believe that was actually fueled by a drug that I took to induce ovulation. So there's a particular drug that is supposed to be a prescription drug, but many women in Nigeria take it without prescription. I'll mention it is Clomid. It helps I think it helps with ovulation, but actually on the contraindication, one of the side effects is that if you've had fibroids, you need to, take it with the, being supervised by your gynecologist. I didn't do that. So I'll use that opportunity to tell someone here that, you need to be careful of self-medication because I did self-medicate, and I believe that was what fueled the fibroids, because right after I took it, like a month after, my, the fibroids started to grow again, and it grew so bad that, I needed surgery the second time. Thank you. No, I didn't get pregnant, but I suspect that, maybe fibroids may have been one of the reasons. I still don't have a child right now, but I don't have any more fibroids. Thank you very much. I actually should mention earlier on, Dr. Ajayi mentioned scar tissue. I did have an experience this year because I've had 4 major surgeries. I actually did have an intestinal obstruction caused by scar tissue. So for about 6 days, on Valentine's Day to the 20th of February, I was hospitalized because I had intestinal obstruction, and it was as a result of scar tissue and adhesion. So yes, you do need to be careful when you're having surgery. You need to find a doctor who understands what is required. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble, and you'll have several other follow-on issues as a result of the surgeries. So if you can find a non-surgical approach, I think it's good to actually explore that. So I support the high food procedure and any other non-invasive procedure. I think you should try that first before you subject yourself to being cut open.
Thank you very much. I have a question for Ini here. Someone is asking, how has the reoccurrence of fibroids affected your daily life and overall well-being? And the second question here is, have you had to make any significant lifestyle changes due to the reoccurrence?
Okay.
Did you get that?
You just remind me the first question again. Let me take it one at a time.
The first question is, okay, how has the reoccurrence of fibroids affected your daily life and overall well-being?
I mean, until recently, I panicked a lot when I found out that it was back. So I mentally it kind of took its toll. And then, that I didn't even realize stress was also like an aggravator. So my dad had told me, my dad is also a doctor, he's like, no, you actually need to be calm. So, I try to meditate. I know it's there, so I'm very conscious. I really believe what we eat has a lot to play. I'm not a doctor, but in terms of like the research I've done, they talk about, your estrogen levels and cortisol. So I'm a true believer on like we are what we eat, right? So I'm very, very conscious, and I think this will probably answer the second question as well. I'm now very, very conscious of what I put into my body. I'm very conscious of what I consume in my mind, and I'm very, very conscious of my physical health. So I work out 6 days a week. Might be excessive for some, but it works for me. I'm very happy after working out, so it puts me in a very good mood. I do it first thing in the morning, so it sets off my day. I'm a foodie, so that part is taking a lot more discipline because I love food. I'm also a sweet tooth, so you can imagine how destructive that has been in terms of what I enjoy to do. But what I also try to do is find fun ways to make food interesting. Food is very important to me. I don't know about others, but like, so now I try to find like healthy options that still make me very happy. Like even with desserts, like my healthy desserts. So I just I've tried to adapt to what I believe is the current situation that I'm in. So yeah, when it comes to my mind, my body, spiritually, I'm very, very conscious. So that is the biggest thing for me. I'm very conscious of what I put into my mind, what I digest, what I eat, and my physical well-being. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Someone is saying, well done to all the speakers. Love you, Ini. This question is for the doctor, Dr. Ajayi. Please, after undergoing fibroid surgery, when is the best time to stop trying for kids?
Okay, nice question. Yeah, depends again on what you did. Okay, usually for the open surgery, now it's come down. Many years ago, we used to say 2 years. It came to 1 year. Now we're agreeing that about 9 months you can start. Okay. Some people are even saying 6 months. Okay. But it depends on what the surgery was like again. Okay. Now, if you do non-invasive, actually we give you 3 months. You can have it. And we had people who have had pregnancies that they carried to term even before the 3 months, So I think the goalpost is just shifting, but it depends essentially on what method of treatment you had. Life is definitely becoming much and much, much easier with technology.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Ajayi. So I would like to take one final word from our speakers. I'll start with you, Dr. Ajayi. What do you have to say? How can people reach you if they need to reach you after this webinar? Because there are lots of questions that we will not be able to take at this webinar, but how can they reach you, just to clarify whatever concerns they have? Yeah.
Okay.
Just one, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, one very easy way is info at Fibro Care Center. Also, the phone number is what I don't have offhand. It will take me 1 minute to get it. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Okay.
I have lots of questions. Okay, go ahead.
434-3714. Anyway, okay, fine. Good. It's already written. The best number is already written now on the chat box. I have an angel watching over me.
So if you need to reach Dr. Abayomi, the phone number is in the chat room. You can just copy and reach him with your questions. If your questions are not answered here, I would like to get a word from Ini before we go. Ini, what would you like to say to round up? How do you want people to reach you? I know you've mentioned it before. You can say it again.
I mean, thank you for having me again. Thank you guys that joined. I really hope that, you know, you learned something. I really hope that you feel better. I really hope that you realize that, you know, there are options and you are not alone. My Instagram is open. You can reach me. You can send me a DM. You can join my community. You can subscribe to my newsletter. I'm literally here for anyone that, you know, needs someone to hold their hand. So yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Amadi, any word of encouragement?
So I just want to say, live intentionally. As a woman, it's important to just live as a human being, really live intentionally, because when you live intentionally, you prevent, just it's beyond fibroid, you're improving your overall health, improving your state of mind, your physical and mental health overall improved. So it's important to be intentional like that, like love yourself so much to be intentional with what goes into your body. With, I always say, if your body is a vehicle, what kind of vehicle is your body? Will your body be a Korobe or Keke Napep? Or is your body like a Lamborghini? You can't put any kind of engine oil inside Lamborghini, like it's not possible. It will knock engine. So think of your body like that. So don't be saying, my body is a Range Rover, it's having Keke vibes. It's not gonna work. So it's important to think of your body that way and be intentional like that. And you could always hit me on Instagram as Ariella Health and Fitness. And my WhatsApp number, 090-2271-3581. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just as you were speaking, somebody said my body is a private jet. Okay. Thank you so much to all our speakers for coming on board and for, you know, honoring our invitation. We do not take it for granted. And thank you to our amazing audience. Now it's time to share the special announcement from Project 111. And I want you all to listen attentively. So as part of our commitment to supporting women living with fibroids, Project 111 will be providing free fibroid surgeries to 10 women. This initiative is a testament of our dedication to making a real difference in the lives of those affected by this condition. So with all that has been said here today, we understand that fibroids can be physically and emotionally challenging. So please participate in this free fibroid treatment. It is very simple. Click on the link that will be shared in the chat room right now to apply. Fill the form, fill it out correctly, and our team will review the application and select 10 women who will receive the surgery. Remember, this is a wonderful opportunity to make a significant impact on your health and well-being. Do not shy away. Click on the link, register your interest, and we would, you know, reach out to you if you're among the 10 women selected. Good luck to everyone. While filling the form, the feedback poll, I think, is still on. So you can tell us how we did on this webinar. Please fill the feedback form, fill the fibroid surgery interest form, and, you know, follow us on all platforms so that you can get updated on what we're doing at Project 111. Just to round up on this webinar, before we round up, I want us to give a resounding clap smiley to all of our speakers. I want to see it in the chat room. Did they do justice to the topic? Did you learn? Because for me, it was very, very educative. I've learned a lot, and I thank you. Thank you so much. My audience is on fire. Thank you so much for those clap smileys. I am happy that everyone learned a thing or two. To round up on this webinar, I would like to invite a very special woman, the group head women banking team at Access Bank, Abiodun Olupitan. She gives us a closing remark. Hello, Abiodun. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Joy. Good afternoon, everyone. And I must say that I'm very, very excited and honored
to be here, sharing this closing remark to several hundreds of our participants that have joined from far and near to listen to this very impactful webinar on Project 111, speaking to the awareness on fibroid. It's actually been very, very insightful, very educating. Thank you so much to the special speakers that we've brought together this afternoon. Ini, Lady Gaini, you've actually shared of your personal experience, and that actually, without holding back, that actually is a very strong point to encouraging another woman out there, and even educating men allies to know, some of these things that we go through as women. I'm very passionate about women. I'm sure you know that by now, by what I do. I'm very passionate about women, and of course, this project is very dear to my heart. And so it's something that I'm so excited that is happening today. Thank you so much to our experts, Dr. Ajayi and Dr. Chinasa, for also sharing from your deep wealth of experience to teach us those things that we do not know, those myths. Personally, as a woman, and I won't lie, until I started getting the awareness about fibroid, and Ini said something that don't say everything in your head or in your mind. Even if I wouldn't say it out, I'm sure I'll probably tap another woman to say, is she pregnant? Because I don't know. But by the time I started realizing a lot about fibroid and the pain that women go through, it's actually something that you really want to tell another person. So, the testimonies we've had today are just those testaments of strength of women and the resilience of our special women that have gone through fibroid and sometimes still going through fibroid. So thank you so much from the bottom of our heart from Project 111. This project is very dear to us in Access Bank, and you can imagine where it is going, where we are even taking it to from that special announcement. Thank you so much. So please, for the women here and the men as well, do not keep everything that you've learned today to yourself, because this program, we wanted to create that awareness that we all need to have. Tell someone else about what you've heard today. Share with another woman, share with your husband, share with your brother. Let someone know about fibroid, what else they can do, and how to encourage another woman that is fighting that battle. Remember that you're not alone if you're in it. There are different communities that you can, join to get support and work with somebody on that journey. Ini has shared hers, Dr. Chinasa as well. So let's encourage, more women to come forward, seek help, and share their stories. And of course, together we can break that silence around fibroids and ensure that no woman suffers in isolation. Thank you all for joining, and thank you all for having me as well. Thank you. Joy, over to you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful closing remark. Thank you to the audience, our audience, ever supporting audience. Thank you so much. And would like to say thank you to the staff of the Retail Banking Division for this laudable project. Please, I want to see a round of applause for the staff of the Retail Banking Division at Access Bank, because it wasn't easy. These were contributions made by staff to put together this project, and we really appreciate them for this. Thank you. This webinar has now come to an end. So I come back to your screens again. My name is Joy Otto. Do have an amazing day.
I see a light inside of you, so let it shine. Let shine. It's time to spread your wings and fly. Reach for the sky. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can.